so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you.
Well, welcome to the podcast, Thoughts for Rent, Realtors Keeping It Real. So why do you think we did Thoughts for Rent, Ireland?
Well, because it's always like penny for your thoughts. And you've been doing it long enough that it's important to hear people who are in the industry who know what they're talking about.
Penny for your thoughts. So we've got Ireland Zerflu sitting next to me. I'm Jenni McKenna. I'm the owner broker of McKenna Property Management. And I actually thought we did Thoughts for Rent because I rent out properties all the time. So I guess it could be multiple things at that point. But you are listening to the podcast, Thoughts for Rent, Realtors Keeping It Real. And today, Ireland and I, we want to dish some tea. You ready to get real?
Yeah.
Let's tell our listeners some of the things that are either true or things that we ran into that were funny.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to cough. All right. So one of the things I get all the time, Jenni, my property on Zillow and what you're telling me is $1,700 in monthly rent. And I go, yes, that is correct. That is fair market rent for today. And you know what they say, Ireland?
What?
Let's go to 2,000. And I go, why? And they go, oh, because if we go higher, then we're going to attract a quality tenant. I must tell you that is not true. I've been doing property management since 1993, owned the company since 2005, owner broker, and I can absolutely with my hand to heaven tell you that is not the way you get quality residents, because fair market rent is fair market rent. It's just the way it is. And a savvy renter, somebody who's got great background, referrals, can afford it, knows the community, they are not going to pay $300 more in rent. They're going to look at that $2,000 asking rent and they are going to say, nope, crazy owner, not even going to waste my time. Yeah. Not going to even try to negotiate. Not going to waste my time. So that is something that I believe is a good lesson to share with everyone, and a little bit of tea on the fact of no good resident is going to pay $300 more in rent.
Yeah, especially if you're working with an agent, because agents are trained to know what the current market value is. So for all of our properties, we make people view them in person before they even get approved, which means you are working with an agent. And if you're working with an agent, they'll tell you if it's overpriced. And then that's usually them saying it's not worth it because if it's overpriced, these owners aren't willing to be reasonable.
And if you don't have a reasonable owner, run. Run. Don't walk. Run from that property, right? So here's another one. You do applications, Ireland. When somebody says to you, Ireland, my last rental, I left it better than when I got it. What do you think in your head immediately?
I mean, the first thing I think in my head is show me the receipts.
That's true. That's true. Show me the proof, right?
Yeah, show me the proof. And then they don't, because there is no proof, because it usually is not the case.
Well, I'm going to be even more blunt than Ireland. Ireland's being very nice. Ireland's like, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, ask them for the receipts. We'll see if what they're saying, can be backed up. You know what I think in my mind after so many years of doing this? Huge red flag, massive red flag, because anybody, and I promise you this has happened at least 30 times in my life. So the data is there. When they say to me, oh, my last rental, I left it better than when that owner gave it to me. It looked better when I moved out than it did than when I got it. I think, oh crap, we are in for a wild ride, because this woman, man, whoever it is, we are going to be in trouble. So that's a red flag. So if you're an applicant and you want to impress either the landlord who is managing their rental themselves or a property management company, don't use those words. In the industry, big red flag. Huge. Okay, what's another one?
Or have the links to back it up. I've had people actually send me photos of their houses and of their site evaluations or of their yearly inspections, showing that they keep the house clean. So if you are going to use those words, come with the proof, come with the receipts. Don't just say it.
Yeah, but don't you think that the people that are doing that, they just send it to you in an email and say, this is how I live. They don't say, oh, I left the property better than when I moved in. No, they have the proof. So they just say, Ireland sent you an email of my last site evaluation. Take a look at the photos so that you can see how I live in a property.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think that when you say those words, oh, I left the property better than when I moved in, that's the red flag, not the, oh, I'm going to send you over my site evaluation so you can see how I can live. Or, hey, come take a look at my car and you can see how I'm meticulous on keeping everything clean and organized, right? If you know you're that kind of person, you're going to have the proof to show it. But if you're just yapping, that's just yapping. And I can promise you, when I go into that property after they move out, I'm probably not going to use the words, oh, wow, look at how great they left this property. It's probably going to be the absolute opposite.
Yeah.
All right. So let's dish another one. What's some more tea that we can talk about in the world that we live in?
Well, we do have a lot of homeowners associations, and those do lead to a lot of violations. And some people get violations weekly, and then it starts to get really annoying, and then they start to get really angry. One time we asked someone to send proof that the violation had been closed, and their son sent a photo of a completely different property. And so when we sent the photo in, the HOA came back and said, this isn't even the unit. And it was like their teenage son just being
A teenage son.
total teenager. And so we had to deal with that. So a lot of times we'll actually get people who will send us like old photos. So if the trash is out or the weeds need to be pulled or something needs to be taken off the patio, we'll tell them that needs to happen. And then they might have sent us a photo from like 4 months ago when they had gotten the violation 4 months ago. And then we have to compare and contrast these photos. And we're basically saying, you sent us the same photo. I had someone who wanted their tree trimmed. And I said, it's not time yet. Give it like 3 months. And then 3 months go by and they send me the same photos from 3 months ago. And I was like, why would you not send me up-to-date photos? And then when they did send me up-to-date photos, the trees were significantly worse. I was like, why would you send me these like very fine looking trees from 3 months ago rather than the overgrown trees currently? So some people do send some old photos, and I think every time I see those and I catch that, I think to myself,
why
are you doing this?
Why? I think that probably at least 2 or 3 times a week in this office, if we had cameras set up in all the different offices of our team members, I think we could make $1 million on the funniest home videos. I really do. Because the things that get sent to us are just crazy sometimes. I remember this, and I wish that I could show you the picture, but I got called in. This has to be 8 or 9 years ago. I got called into our maintenance department. And this is the department that takes in all the, requests for repairs. Something's broken. We need to get something fixed, and they send it in. Well, I got called in, and the team member says, Jenny, take a look at this video that a resident has sent in. So I watched the video, and just imagine a woman opens up just the old style refrigerator. So you got the freezer on the top, the fridge on the bottom. She opens up the regular refrigerator part. She puts her entire body into the refrigerator. And I can hear her on the video. She goes, look, and she opens up the fridge, sticks her entire body in, and then hits her head on some shelving that is inside the refrigerator and says, this refrigerator is too small. I can't get my head in the refrigerator. I have never laughed so hard. I thought they were punking me. It's not. It was true. We had somebody that believed that their refrigerator needed to be bigger, and that was validation to send in a repair request. So I called the resident and I said, is the refrigerator actually working? Is it cooling? Oh, she goes, oh yeah, it's cooling. I go, well, don't stick your head in the refrigerator. You're not supposed to be putting your head in a refrigerator anyways. So I had to educate her on a refrigerator does not have to have the capacity of sticking your entire body in. But I mean, that is just one of so many that happen on a weekly basis in property management.
Yeah.
Where are their moms and dads? Like, where did they learn to stick a head and their body in a refrigerator? I mean, Ireland, you've lived in my house for a while. When did you ever walk up to a refrigerator and stick a head in there and go, oh, I need to get a new refrigerator. It's not working.
I will say I've never thought that once
So
before.
that is some of the tea, you guys. If you ever want to be in an environment, an office environment where you get to chuckle about every couple of days over the question, why are they doing that? It's property management, don't you think?
I would say so. I have a friend who's in the industry who was just telling me a story last week about how they received an HOA violation for pet waste, but he has fake poop, like his kids like to play with fake like clay poop. And so he sent a reply being like, oh yeah, sorry, it's not like real poop, it's fake poop, it's a toy.
It's the plastic fake poop.
Yeah, and he like sent a picture of him like holding the fake poop, and then the staff employee took that photo and sent it to the HOA to try to close the violation. So I'm sure the person on the other line was like, why are they sending me a picture of this person like holding poop?
Right.
Also, why does this person have fake poop?
Why multiple fake poop? Like
I
one
don't
fake
know.
poop to hide a key underneath it, right? I've seen that where you stick the key and underneath and you got the fake poop there because nobody's going to pick up poop. But
I've
more
never
than
seen
one,
that before. I've never seen fake
they
poop to hide a
do. They
key.
have that. They have that at
I
Home
see
Depot.
the fake rocks, but not.
Oh no, there's fake poop because on a fake rock, you might want to pick up a rock. Maybe that's a pretty rock. Maybe that can be a pet rock. You remember pet rocks? No, you don't because you're too young, but I do. We used to have pet rocks. But Home Depot, Lowe's, or some of those others, you can, and I'm sure Amazon, you can buy like a hidden key holder, and it looks like fake poop. Promise, I've seen it.
You're going to get an HOA violation if you leave fake poop out.
Yeah, the HOA doesn't matter. They don't care if it's fake. If it looks like poop, even if it doesn't smell like poop, they're still going to get you an HOA violation.
That's silly.
So there's another thing that comes across all the time. This is more kind of for education. We have applicants that always seem to think that paying 3 or 6 months of rent up front is advantageous to the owner. And I want to get your opinion because I have mine and I'll share it. But Ireland, what are your thoughts on when somebody's pushing so hard to come up with that 3 or 6 months of rent at the time of signing the lease?
Truthfully, it's not super beneficial. I don't think it makes your app stronger. A lot of times people will usually pitch that if they have a lower credit score caused by items in collections or just past due balances. So I always question and ask myself, why wouldn't you just apply that money to your past due bills to make your credit score stronger?
Yep.
Rather than continuing to have a weaker credit score and paying 3 months of rent up front. I think that you're going to have a better chance of getting into a property with a strong credit score than you are offering to pay 3 to 6 months of rent up front. We've gotten pretty lucky in that it hasn't completely bitten us, but that same friend who shared the poop story with me, she did accept someone who paid 3 months of rent up front, and month 4, they fully called up and said, yeah, I don't have that money.
Yep. Because they ended up with some kind of settlement, or they ended up with, believe it or not, they get money right now from colleges for like semesters. So you get a lump sum that is deposited in your bank account. And if you just end up not doing the college semester, you still have the money and then you have to figure out how to give it back. But they use that for their housing. I call it, they're playing the game. And I don't want a resident playing a game when they're moving into my owner's investment. I mean, these investments are big investments. They're $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 homes. I'm not going to want a resident starting off the tenancy playing that game. And that's what I think in my mind when somebody is putting in an application and they're giving me the song and dance. I can pay 3 months up front. I can pay 6 months up front. No, do exactly what Ireland said. If your FICO score is a little low, and that's why we're second guessing if you want to, if we should approve your application, go take that money and get those collections off of your credit report.
Yeah.
That's what you should do.
Or put your money where your mouth is and offer to apply it to the security deposit. I do see people who do offer double security or sometimes triple security, which is the max you can charge
In Nevada.
Mm-hmm. And I think that is more appealing than offering to pay 3 months up front, because that means that you're saying, I'm going to put this money and I'm going to take care of your property. And I'm going to take care of it so well that when the time comes for me to get that money back, I will. And so usually if people are offering one or the other, I would say lean more towards offering the increase in the security deposit.
And I agree 100% because that's not playing a game now. That's actually being proactive and saying, I am so confident that you are going to like how I leave this property, that I will get my money back. That's how confident I am. I'm going to give you the security deposit because I'm going to get it back when I move out of this property. That to me, that is impressive. I would look at that very seriously, even if their FICO score was a little lower, because having that extra security deposit makes the owner warm and fuzzy, and it certainly makes us as property managers, we feel like they're not trying to play the game. They're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have entertained you for about 17 minutes today. We've dished some pretty good tea. There's always more tea. We will be offering more tea in this podcast as the months go on. But what can they do, Ireland, if they have any questions, concerns, comments, or want to share this episode with someone else?
Yes. So if you like hearing what we have to say, then follow and subscribe. And then if you have any questions regarding Nevada investment, Nevada real estate, Nevada property management, then give us a call. McKennaPropertyManagement.com is our website, and you can reach us at info@McKennaTeam.com. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to either find you a place for your next rental or potentially help you rent out your investment property. But if you like hearing some crazy stories, then just follow and subscribe.
Sounds great. We will be here next time. This is Thoughts for Rent, Realtors Keeping It Real with Ireland Zerflu and Jenni McKenna.
Oh, there you go. Sound good? Okay, good. I'll pass over to Ireland. Here you go, Ken.
Thanks, Pops.